What did we just witness? Silence the Pinstripes 2-3 and swept the Mets? What? Big Amish's long ball wakes up in the Big Apple. Someone hit 475 for the road trip. I mean, what else could an A's fan ask for? What is up? Welcome to Habit Hunter A's podcast in the House Always Wins podcast network. I'm Tim Burns. You can call me Hobbs, and I'm a sports writer covering the athletics for the guys at Mid-Valley Sports out of Los Angeles, where I cover the amazing A's, our A's, as well as the entire NFL desk. You can find me at Sacktown A's Fans for Life on X, and this, the Habit Hunter podcast. Habit Hunter is a show that reviews each series. We analyze trends, tendencies, both good and bad. We'll cover what players are trending up or down. We'll analyze moves, management, and ownership make. We identify problems A's players might be developing, and we look for solutions, come up with some ideas on what might need to be done. We've already identified a few trends and have seen the team respond accordingly. Together, we are the Habit Hunters, right? Remember to click like and subscribe. I know everyone asks that, but it does keep a massive amount of A's content in the algorithm. We will do a roll call at the end of today's show and see how the players and the team are doing after the Mets series and the entire New York road trip. Who wasn't happy, right? So hang in until the end because roll call is going to be a blast today. All right, so let's get cracking and break down the Mets series. Did you guys sit around last Monday thinking we're going to take 5 out of 6 in New York, right? I don't think anybody penciled that in for this weekend, right? We took 2 of 3 from the division-leading Yankees. We didn't let up. We used late run production, shutouts, and we swept the Mets. I can't even believe it. 5 of 6. We were like, might get 2 of 3. Sweep, amazing. And it's been starting pitching. They got 2 wins this series. It's been 11 1/3 innings from the bullpen, with them giving up just 1 run. I mean, come on, we have been talking smack on these guys for about 2 weeks on how bad they've been. One run. We found the long ball. We went yard 4 times in the last 2 days. A's went 5-1. We sit atop the standings after an 0-4 start. Now I know some people might say, well, technically, there's differentials and that kind of thing for a tiebreaker, but it's early in the season, so I'm going to go ahead and bask in the idea that we're in first place, right? We can't. I mean, we've got to take this while we can. The A's are atop, having played 12 of their first 15 games away from home. That's amazing. We've had 1 series all year, and we're 8-7. We started 0-4. I mean, this is crazy. We're going to go over the series and we're going to go over the road trip because we just absolutely shredded. I mean, the team came into Citi Field facing another pitcher off to a fast start, right? We just ran the pinstripe gauntlet of elite pitching, and we go in and we have to face starter Clay Holmes. Now, Holmes came into Friday night already 2-0, 1.47 ERA. He doesn't give a lot of foot traffic, but Holmes, he allowed runners in all 6 innings he pitched in Friday night. And in the 3rd inning was when we broke through. And I'll talk about the scoring, but I want to contrast something really quick. There were 2 at-bats that happened in this 3rd inning, and it was a successful inning. So that was great. But I wanted to point this out. It was Denzel Clark and Lawrence Butler at the start of the 3rd. Now, Clark struck out and Butler walked, and this is what I saw. Now, Holmes threw the same sinkers for strikes to both guys. The way he set it up, same way, same speed, 92, 94 for both. But the difference was apparent. Now, I'm going to go with something that I learned when I was a little kid. Every pitch that Clark saw that was ooze, he swung out. Now, what is ooze? Ooze was my baseball coach when I was a kid growing up. He would see me hacking at the balls off the plate. and he'd say, "You got the ooze, you got the ooze," right? Old school dude is like in his 50s. I actually lived with him for a moment when we were touring. I was basically an all or nothing guy. Basically, I struck out more than everybody else. And I heard ooze a lot. Ooze is pitches out of the strike zone. Swinging at pitches out of zone. Ooze. Clark swung at every pitch off the plate. Every one. And he was down 0-2, and he struck out. Now, Butler, he was different. He was the next batter. He did everything was basically the same. But he ignored the ooze, right? He ignored ooze-related balls coming at him. Took swings at pitches he should have, and he walked. He avoided the bad pitches while Clark swung at them. Now, understand, I see it. I saw it too. Clark's improving. And I know he had to hit a couple RBIs in Friday's game, but this is kind of the microcosm of Clark's plate issues that I've been pointing out and we've been discussing over the last couple of episodes. He had a good approach at the plate Saturday, and we're going to talk about that. But as for this particular inning, Carlos Cortez, he's showing he is a true MLB level hitter. This guy is clean. He takes pitches. He doesn't swing at stupidity. He led off the third with a single. Butler had his walk. Now Kurtz moved him over, and Shea Langoliers, boom, RBI single, up 1-0. That quick. Now Holmes spread out the base runners over the rest of his innings. He actually had a really good outing. He went 5 1/3. He only gave up 1 earned, 5 hits. And, those numbers usually give you a W. And he spread it out like this, like he walked Kurtz in the first and the fifth, and he gave up singles to Jacob Wilson in the second and the sixth. And he squeezed McNeil's double in the fourth. But as you can see, they're all spread out. We did not get anything. There was no productivity after that. And we didn't break through again until the 9th. Now, the A's got insurance runs in the 9th, and I'd really like to see them pile on teams like this more often. We pile on again Saturday, and I'm going to go over that. And Sunday, I kind of wish we had piled on, if we had the moment. Because like in the 12-10 Astros win, remember, we just kept giving those runs back. Yankee series opening loss. Our relievers can surrender leads quickly. So it was nice to see some just-in-case runs. You know what I mean? In the 9th, Jacob Wilson, he hit the first pitch into left field for a single. And Carson Bench, the left fielder, he fumbled the ball up. And Wilson got to advance to second. Now, I point this out because he does the exact same error to open Saturday's game. He's kind of like being the Max Muncy of the Mets right now. Muncy is kind of proving, I'm going to say this real quick, Muncy's kind of proven to be a liability at third. We're seeing it. Some of these singles, most third basemen are going to get to. He has no range, especially to his left. We knew that coming in. I kind of thought we were going to get the errors, but I never really thought that deep into it about the range part of it. I thought, I think he's got that, but it feels like he don't. But his power is also what we expected. So, he's balancing out because he's shredding, It was a good thing Wilson grabbed the extra bag because McNeil hit the next pitch to nearly the same spot as Wilson at almost the same speed and nearly the same distance. Bam, RBI single. A's are up 2-0, right? Muncy then doubled on the first pitch he saw. So there was 3 hits and 3 pitches by the A's. So you can see him dialing in this series. Denzel Clark, he hit a 2-run single, 102 off the bat into center field. He gave a solid distance in the 9th for the 4-0 win, just in case, because like I said, we can give up them runs real quick. All we need is a lighter. I almost said Al lighter. A lighter fiasco like we saw earlier. On the bump, Ginn had a solid start for 4 innings. He only allowed 2 base runners and just 1 single, right? So the one thing I love about this outing was he got behind 3-0 3 times, and twice he pulled it all the way back to a full count. All 3 of them ended up outs. So while he was behind, he didn't stay that way, and he didn't. I don't know. I know they don't give up, but you can kind of feel how they're gonna run the rest of the at bat if they're down 3-0. But he fought back. It was a stress-free start. that had a little bit of hard contact. There were some ground outs and a fly out that were over 103. I think Bo Bichette hit one about 107, but it was all at people, so there was no damage. And reliever Leiter, the one I was thinking about, he gave up a single in the fifth, but he made quick work of it. And I'm going to be honest, because of what I just said, I prefer that he is either the first out of the bullpen or the second out of the bullpen. And it just has to do with the amount of foot traffic he has. It's just so high. I'd rather see him early than in the late innings, right? Because especially in close games. Kotze does revert back to late inning usage Saturday with him, and it does work out, so who am I to say? I'm just saying, it'd probably be best for my heart if he was a little earlier in the rotation of the relievers. He had a good outing, but even Friday night, the single was like almost 109 off the bat. So, he scares me. I don't want to see a 109 off the bat in the ninth inning. You know what I'm saying? Newly promoted Jack Perkins. Now, we were thinking back and forth whether this guy's was gonna stick to at the beginning. He took over in the sixth, and we're gonna look at him a little bit because I expect some high usage of this guy, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of multi-inning appearances. He gave up back-to-back singles to Lindor and Bichette, but he got out of the inning with a double play. And did you see Kurtz? I don't know who it was. Anyway, he snagged a hard grounder. I think it was Jared Young, but he fired it off to third base. He kind of juked and fired a ball off to third base. He caught Lindor trying to dive back in. It was such a good heads-up play because he double pumped him and then went with a great throw. But back to Perk, we had a good peek at him in the majors back in 2025. He went 12 games. He had 4 starts. He went 3-2, and the opponents batted under 200. Okay, which is decent. We like that. But spring training was kind of a mixed bag for him. He went 2-1, ERA at 4. Okay, but there was just way too much foot traffic. I think he had 7 walks. I think he had like 17 people reach base in just the short amount of innings. So he had to start in AAA. In this game, quick 2-strike, 10-pitch 7th using his sweeper. Bam. It looked good. He gave up a 1-out single in the 8th, and Scott Barlow, he just finished out the inning. His Barlow's curveball was sick too. I saw a lot of good pitching. Not a lot of consistency in the pitching from either teams that I was watching, but a lot of good single pitches. I bring that up. JT Ginn did this as well. Think about this, getting behind in the count 3-0 and then them forcing a full count. All 4 of those in the game resulted in outs. And I like that we're staying in those at bats because it paid off Friday. Wilson went 3 for 4. McNeil went 2 for 4. McNeil's a beast. He went 2 for 4 with a double. Muncy doubled. He maintained his hitting streak at the time. He had a hitting streak going, I believe, at least into Saturday. It was a great win. We had 26 straight scoreless innings. That's amazing. We thought we were going to get that from our pitching. I don't think so. But we finally brought out the bats. We thrashed the Mets. We thrashed the starter, Kodai Senga, on Saturday. Dude had one of the most, like I was going to say, he had one of those wicked forkball. I haven't seen one quite that good in a while. It was tight, but Butler singled off of him to lead off the game. It kind of signaled the day for him because it seemed like he just wasn't in it. He wasn't consistent, and he was leaving stuff out. Ace touched him up for 7 runs and 2 1/3, 8 hits, 2 walks, 2 home runs. Nice. We've gone a little stretch without some home runs, so it was kind of nice to get back on track with that. Only 3 strikeouts. So we broke through in the second with back-to-back singles by Wilson and McNeil. And Carlos Cortez, he walked after a great 9-pitch battle. And I'm going to say this again. Dude has some really professional at-bats. For this point in his career, he is fun to watch because he doesn't give you any freebie stupid swings. He's very, very disciplined for somebody this early in his career. Small dude too. I never really noticed that. I noticed it in the chat. Somebody said something. I was like, oh, I never noticed that. Anyway, I said Clark had good AB Saturday, and he walked in the A's first run after Cortez walked. He walked in the first run, and he showed some patience at the plate. I was like, all right, man, I saw that a few games ago. Maybe he's starting to turn, Butler drove in McNeil a batter later, and we had a 2-1 lead. But I'm going to tell you, the A's went off in the third. But they went off. I mean, Senga basically served up BP. Shea doubled. Sodi hit the first of his 2 home runs. And those guys, Wilson and McNeil, going back to back. It's such a great bridge. It makes the entire lineup potent. Have these guys, just as you got out of the heart of the order, you got these guys, bam, bam, always he's with these back-to-back singles, right? This is what we've been waiting for. And they both singled again, okay? So Cortez got up again, and what did he do? Dude homered. This is what we want, man. This is what we were hoping for. Carlos Cortez is picking up the slack. We lost a big bat in Rooker. So Cortez, seeing him out there making, throwing up some production. We love that. Starter, Jacob Lopez. He allowed a pair of singles in the first to end the scoreless streak that won at 26. And it was a Bo Bichette, RBI single. But he weaved in and out of traffic until basically the 5th inning. And, of course, it's the Bo Bichette show. It's a shit show. He's out there earning his, whatever it was, 110, 120, $130 million, for a few years. He hit a 2-run homer. So, you figured at that point, there was an uptick in 2-0 counts to the hitters. We were talking about it with the guys from the network in the chat. We have a chat that we talk over during the games, and that probably should have been it for Lopez, right? But he started the 6th. I was actually kind of up for, okay, give him one up until one person on base and then pull him, right? But he started the 6th, and he served up a homer to Francisco Alvarez. So you'd think, okay, yeah, now he's done, right? Now it's 4 earned runs. So no, that still wasn't enough for Cott. He stuck around for. It always seems to be 1 or 2 more batters than I would hope for. He stuck around long enough to walk the next guy, and that guy later scored. Is unfortunate, but Joe Cunell, he just brought up. He allowed an RBI single, but you know what? To me, if he'd have started the inning, it would have been a different thing, because he set down the next 3 hitters on 3 pitches. 1 and out, 1 and out, 1 and out. I mean, he put out the fire because things were building. Like, you could start feeling like, oh no, we don't have enough innings or enough runs for the amount of innings left, But he did put out that fire, and he ended the 8th. Sterner, top of the next inning, man. He had to give up a home run. Jorge Polanco, first guy he saw in the 7th, and he followed that with a walk and a single, but that was it for the Mets. Mark Leiter started the 8th. I was stressing it. Given the foot traffic he allows, he struck out the side. His splitter was really, really dialed in, and people weren't touching it. He looked really good. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better about him and about going and getting him. Maybe we're going to get a whiff out of that one. The A's piled on in the 9th, and I like that. Clark had another good at bat before singling. Okay. After Kurt's second walk of the game and Shea's second hit, Sodi finished the night with a 3-run bomb to finish with 5 RBIs. Gotta like that. Put it out of reach, because they inched their way right back, and we put it out of reach. Luis Medina, he finally got to touch the game ball. All right. He dominated. He took only 10 pitches to finish the 9th. Great game. Everybody reached base. Everybody with the exception of Butler reached twice. Okay. Shea, 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI. Sodi, obviously, 2 homers. 3 for 5, 5 RBI. McNeil, he had 3 more hits. The guy's a beast. Muncy and Wilson duo, they had 2 singles each, back-to-back, a couple times. Kurtz walked twice for the second day in a row. Didn't get hits, but he's getting productivity. He's getting the walks, right? Great win. And with that great win, we won our 3rd series in a row, right? But we're not okay with just that. And I'm really proud of Kotze for putting in a respectable lineup for the finale. Knowing we won, I was a little worried he was going to kind of pull a, let's throw in all our bench guys for the end of the series. I really didn't want that to happen. So today's game was really nice to see. Serious lineup. Savale is our number 2 right now, right behind Jeffrey Springs. I'm adjusting the order, right? Dominant performance today. He gave up a pair of singles in the first and a pair of singles in the 6th. And otherwise, he didn't allow a damn thing. He retired 13 in a row before turning it over to Hogan Harrison with 2 on and 1 out in the 6th. Okay. He went 5 2/3. He only gave up 4 singles. He didn't walk anyone, which is a first for an A's starter this season, because we were giving up passes left and right. He won his second game. He dropped his ERA to 1.72. And I'm going to say something about Harris and Kotze. I like Kotze using Harris in a 1-0 game situation like this. It's the 6th. It's a high-stress situation, and I like that he went to Harris because you have confidence in this guy, right? And he handled it quickly. Now, of course, if it was me, I want Harris at the end in the 9th, right? But this was a high-stress situation, and that's who we want in there, right? I'm actually really stoked and really proud of Cott for that. I'm really ultra-critical about his usage, and he's actually getting better. I'm going to just say it. He's getting better, right? Harris, Barlow, and Alvarado, they straddled the innings, took care of the end of the 6th, then the 7th. They straddled the innings in the 8th. Joel Kuhnel, this guy's making the most of his early call-up, right? He got a second save in 4 games. It took 4 pitches for him to complete the 9th, right? 2 pitch and done, 1 and done, 1 and done. Like, what's cool? I looked it up. I'm like, God, does he do that all the time or something? And I just never noticed. It's a cool stat. Check this out. He pitched 3 1/3 innings so far, and it's taken him 28 pitches to go 3 1/3. That's crazy. That's awesome. He's having a great start. We're going to like this guy. I don't care that he came up late. Like, he was right on the bubble, and you know what? I like it. I know right now that this guy's dialed in. Good job bringing him up. Good job. Mets Freddie Peralta, their starter. He entered the Sunday 1-0, right? Peralta had traffic all day, but let's be honest, he's another starter for them that pitched a solid game. We know him, right? A little older, but we know him. His only blemish was Kurt's first home run in the 3rd inning, right? We're going to talk about that. Any other day, Peralta wins this game. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, all spread out over the 6 innings, and he struck out 6. So, if he's letting 7 on, he's striking 6 out, he's kind of balancing his world a little bit, I think, but we took care of him, right? In fact, kind of funny, former Athletic starter Sean Manaea, we like Sean Manaea. He gave us a no-hitter. That's right. He faced the minimum 3 innings of hitless relief. We did not want to see that, right? I'm all nostalgic about my boy, but not against us, please. Solid showing, but this is crazy to say. Ace pitching was better. Did I say that? Ace pitching was better. Damn right it was. And it looks like it's going to be a trend. My anxiety, though, and heart rate would have been better if we would have added some of those just-in-case runs like the first 2 games, right? But in spite of the winning, the A's continue to have these little dead stretches of 3 innings of suck, where we'll get someone on and we leave them every inning, right? And it's usually 3 innings in a row. It seems like we do that. I notice we've been striking out a lot after a hit in those dead innings. Like we get a hit and then it's just a strikeout. Now it's 2 outs and right? So no moving the runner along like we would want to, right? Right after a hit, you want to at least get a productive out, right? So we can move him over, get him in, even if it's 1 out or 2 outs, at least you're going to get 1 crack or 2 cracks at getting him driven in, right? On a single. I don't know. But we are breaking through offensively, right? So let's see where the team is at, right? That is 3 series in a row. First place Astros, first place Yankees. I don't know what place the Mets are, but I know they aren't in first now, right? Smiles for everybody. 8-7 record. I'm going to say it again. Best record in the AL West, right? After starting 0-4, that's not bad. 7-3 in the last 10. That is best in the American League. So we're the hottest team in the American League right now. Batting average, it's up 235. That is nothing to be happy about. But it was 177 before the Astros series. So there you go. 3 good series, and we've popped up almost 70 points, right? I get it. It's early and it's easy to pop those up, but it's showing you good path, right? When the A's got to New York, their ERA was 5.5. 5.5. It has dropped to 4.2. And while it's about a full run more than we want, this staff is producing right now. Prior to this road trip, the A's pitchers were issuing 6.4 walks a game. Just walks. Easily the worst in baseball. They issued 6 all of the Mets series. And let's face it, 12 less base runners. That sure can help a 3-game series, right? We had 12 less base runners for them to play with. That's all the difference, man. So let's do a roll call. This is my favorite part of doing this. Seeing how the guys are putting it together or not. Try to get the positive ones out more than the negatives, right? Right now, lots of positives. We'll start with Jacob Wilson. He batted .555 against the Mets. He went 5 for 9. He sat in the finale. Okay. I mean, really, Katse, we're 15 games in. How much rest does Wilson need? 15 games in. And does he need it right now? He went 3 for 4 and 2 for 5. So sit him okay. But why? Why, right? I'm not mad about it, We won anyway. But, 555, man, why not leave him in there? We lucked out 1-0, right? What if we had lost? And he sat for 3 ABs, Shea, he hit in every game. He batted .307, 4 for 13, had a double. Good series. And you can see him smiling again, too. Kurtz, he finally hit that first bomb. It took him 17 games to hit his first one last year and 15 this year, okay? And since he's kind of following what he did last year, let's think about, hey, let's have him follow all the other stuff that he did last year. He hits them in bunches. So what I'd like to see is 5 in the next 8 games, maybe, 5 in the next 8 games. That'd be nice. Sodi, 6 for 26, 2 bombs. He is 10th in baseball with 13 RBIs. That's nice. That's nice because he's had some 0 for days, and he's still producing quite well. Max Muncy, oh my God. Max Muncy, 7 for 21 on the road trip. He's 16th in baseball, 305 average. Excuse me. Jeff McNeil. You saw, I've talked about it through the whole entire last 2 shows. Jeff McNeil, 10th in baseball, 318 batting average. He batted .476 on the road trip, 10 for 21 with 3 doubles. And we just kind of went out and kind of got him a filler for the position, hoping he would produce. Right now, he's producing. He's producing well. Butler hit leadoff every game against the Mets, okay? And it didn't work out, okay? 1 for 13 with a walk, 4 Ks, and hit into a double play. Not exactly what we want to get out of our leadoff. I think it's ready to. I love Butler too. He's cool. Good guy. No, can't go 1 for 13 at leadoff. I think we need to try somebody else. Carlos Cortez. He homered, 3 RBIs, batted .333. He has the best on-base percentage on the entire team, .440. I know he's only got 10 games under his belt, but you know what? He's going to make up for that now. And he'll cash back up. He's batting .333. And that's not a cheap .333, right? We've seen it. Denzel Clark. Improving? Absolutely. A lot better pitch count. There's no 1 and done and 0 and 2s. A lot fewer of those this time through, but he still went 2 for 11. Still only batting .158. His K rate's 40%. Hasn't had more than 2 hits in the series. 2 hits in the series. I'm still saying maybe we should send him down, let him work on it. I don't know. Give him a series or 2 more. people will rumble a little bit more. I don't know. But we're on a roll. 4-game series at home against the Rangers starts tomorrow. We have to be really happy. Man, we did not expect to be out here. That's all I got. 4-game series. I'll see y'all on Friday. Take care.